What's going on, everybody? Got Perry here to my right, Eric back there, Demon Eric. Can't
Demon
see his face.
Eric once again.
Today we went to a special one-time, one-showing screening of In Fabric, which is, I believe it's the newest A24 horror movie.
It is.
A24 horror movie that's out. And it's written and directed by Peter Strickland, who also wrote and directed this film called The Duke of Burgundy, which is a film that I personally haven't seen. I don't think anybody in here has seen that movie.
No.
But apparently some of my subs have seen it, and apparently it's a pretty mixed reaction out of it. And honestly, walking out of In Fabric, I think it's going to be met with the same kind of mixed reception, because I gotta say, just right out of the gate, I'm pretty mixed on this film right now.
We all are, I think.
Yeah, we're all pretty mixed, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There's, I guess before I get into things that I didn't like about it, let me start off by saying that the aesthetic style to this film I thought was incredibly effective for me. I really enjoyed the way the score was used in this film and the way that the camera work was used. I liked the way they kind of, you know, meshed together and created a really unique 70s style aesthetic, but also like something that seemed so new at the same time. It seemed like it's like new, but definitely retro in a way, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really effective. The audience that we saw this in with, I don't think they really took to the style too much, because it's like every time there was a stylistic choice, they would just laugh at it. But me, like, the first half of this film, like, I was really not laughing at all. I thought it was actually really effective and captivating the way they were shooting certain scenes and the way they were portraying certain characters. But that being said, I guess another thing that I do enjoy about this film is it's really unorthodox thematic conveyance as well.
Yeah.
This is a really just bizarre and strange. This is probably the most bizarre and strange film that I've seen all year. It's just, I haven't seen a film like this. I can't really describe another film that I've seen that is like this, unless I'm trying to refer to, like, you know, 70s style horror and stuff. But other than that, like, this is a really, really unique and odd film. And I did enjoy that about it, you know, for the most part. I liked that it was, you know, really ballsy and taking those risky choices in terms of you know, creative style. I did enjoy most of that. And also, you know, as I was trying to say, like, the thematic conveyance is also portrayed in a really odd way and strange way. And I really enjoyed that aspect of this film. But that being said, getting into the negatives, this film apparently has two halves to it. And that was something that I did not see coming at all. And I'm not going to spoil too much or anything like that, but the two halves of this film, it's kind of jarring a bit, because one, the first half to me seemed really, you know, for the most part, tonally consistent with what it was trying to do. And then the second half of this was just like, you didn't know when to laugh, when you thought something was effective, you didn't know when something was necessarily creepy. It was weird, like, you didn't really know how to feel in a lot of different places. But I don't know, just in my personal opinion, whether or not the narrative choice in this, because the two halves are jarringly different but the same at the same time. And I don't know whether or not it's just a creative choice or a lazy choice. I think it's just a mixture of both, because to me, it did seem a bit lazy, because it was just kind of repetitive, and a lot of the stuff was kind of the same shit that you already saw in the first half, just with a different kind of character that was less interesting, in my opinion.
Exactly.
But yeah, this film, like, honestly, the first half of this, I was like, this is honestly a pretty strong 7, or even maybe an 8 out of 10 for me, because I was just really enjoying what I was watching, even though it was really strange. But the second half of this, it was just underwhelming for me. Like, it's not horrible or anything, but it's just, it came off like kind of a cop-out. I don't know, I feel like if the film just fleshed on what it was doing with the first half and conveyed similar things, I would have probably enjoyed this a lot more. But it took a really more or less lazy approach in the second half, and less interesting approach in the second half, and it just kind of bummed me out a bit, because I was really enjoying it for the most part. But yeah, I guess that being said, I'm pretty mixed on this, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably say some similar things. But yeah, this was a film that I thought at first like I was really loving, and then just the way it went about its second half and the way it ended, it was just, I don't know. It definitely didn't wow me in a lot of different ways.
This film wowed me in a lot of ways for being very unconventional and for doing a lot of very strange stylistic choices that I haven't seen. None of us here are really super familiar with the Giallo style. Me and Perry has both seen the original Suspiria, but that's like, like surface level, and I don't think that's like a full representation of that style, which the director is clearly inspired from. But I completely agree with Carlos. Like, the second half is just plainly not as interesting as the first. The characters in the first half felt very meaningful, and the acting was very well done. They all did a great performance. All, carried a great performance.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Just nothing in the second half was engaging to me. There were times where I was legitimately checked out, and just was like, okay, I really want this to move along, or puts some different spin from that we didn't see in the first half. And I just didn't enjoy the characters in the second half at all. I feel like their acting was fine, but it just felt not nearly as well crafted as the first. I'm sorry I'm lingering so much on it, but it's true. It's a big detriment to the film. But
I mean, it's a huge elephant when you walk out of it, and you're just like, you have to talk about that and really, discuss it, because it's just such a jarring thing that happens in the middle of the movie.
Right, and I feel like it didn't transition. I'm not gonna say what the split is, but it didn't transition to the second half well either. I felt like it was kind of poorly communicated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the aesthetics of this movie was really great in my opinion. I love the use of the colors, especially the color red, obviously, and I really enjoyed the score, actually. I thought the score was very unconventional, especially for movies made nowadays, but it was really atmospheric and also kind of creepy, while also being a little over the top, which is, from what I understand, what Giallo kind of is a little over the top in a way. But yeah, those are my, I guess, general thoughts.
I relate to a lot of that.
I think it's safe to say I like this film the least out of the three of us. With that being said, I don't hate this film. I think there's a lot to appreciate. But the two words that come to mind after walking out of this film is tonally inconsistent. It was so frustrating because this is a pretty well shot movie, and I really do dig the score to this film, and there was a lot about the first act I really enjoyed, but at the same time there was a lot of moments that I don't know if they were intentionally funny or unintentionally funny, but they really took me out of the movie. There was a couple of characters in this film that felt like they were straight out of Hot Fuzz, not fudge.
Hot Fudge.
But if anyone's ever seen Hot Fuzz, there's a couple of characters that talk to Simon Pegg in the opening scene of the movie, and they're like, "You really want us to get the chief inspector down here right now?" And I kid you not, these characters reminded me so much of them, and it was just very distracting and very jarring, because one scene you see a very creepy, really intense horror sequence with the red dress, which is what this film centers around, and then you see these characters, and it doesn't even feel like the same movie. Yeah. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I think I guess to expand on that is one other issue I kind of had with it was that it's just some of the characters in this felt like cartoons.
Definitely, it felt so cartoonish.
Yeah, it's especially the fashion lady in the store.
Oh yeah,
feel
definitely.
Like that was intentional, though.
But just because it's intentional doesn't make it good.
I said that to you, Perry, on the drive over here, and I completely agree. There's a lot of things about this movie that I feel were intentional, but it doesn't make them good. But I do like the hamminess of all of the people who work in the fashion store. Because it's supposed to be like clearly satirical, or they're very like pretentious, hoity-toity, fucking, and like glorifying everything, like just the perversion of it. And I really like how they're all like portrayed as these over-the-top fucking cultists.
I liked it to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, it's like I understood what they were going for, but I feel like they laid it on a bit too thick, and it just got to the point where it's like, it's just too hammy to the point where I couldn't enjoy it anymore.
It felt very detached from the rest of the film, and I did think that was distracting.
Yeah.
Like, it did it, like, maybe this was the director's intent, but the scenes with the main character that we follow and the people in her life and the people who run the store, they feel like from totally different movies. It felt like one movie would be playing, and then once we stop with those set of characters, like another movie would be playing, and we follow these completely different characters with a completely different tone.
And I could sit here and argue like, well, that's maybe the point, is to show you that like they're in their own little bubble, in their own little universe that's completely detached from actual people. And that's why like I would say that when it comes to the fashion, characters in the store, like I enjoyed most of it. Like I could safely say that I am totally fine with about 80 to 85% of their like, characters. Like I just thought like, it's overall it's definitely cartoony. It seems like they're just playing a character, but again, like it didn't really take me out as much because I saw like the kind of satirical approach that they were going for with the characters. But there were other characters that I thought were a bit inexcusable, and I thought you didn't really need this kind of weird cartoon comedy sketch kind of shit going on.
I'm kind of curious who you're talking about, because I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there's a character in this film who straight up was like probably meant to look like a fucking vampire, and I really loved this character. He thought he was really funny, just how over the fucking top he was.
I don't think I'm talking about that character.
Okay.
I'm really talking about the two like boss characters that talk to two different employees in the movie. And you see them.
Those are the characters I hate.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Those are the ones that I didn't like very much sometimes. I thought they were kind of funny sometimes, but just they seemed too out of place.
I hated him so much, like I wanted to check out, like I don't want to go as far as say I wanted to check out of the movie, but it definitely bothered me to the point where I was like...
But I can understand why they're there too, though, because they're there to, again, like, be satire for how, like, capitalism works with bosses. Like, they have that, I'm not gonna spoil too much, I guess, but they basically, like, make fun of the kind of mundane, ridiculous standards that they have and what they put on their employees. And I can see why that's there, but I just think it was a little over the top, and it was a little too in your face about it, and I wasn't a fan of most of that.
They felt like they were from a Terry Gilliam film. Like they felt like the characters from Brazil, you know? And like I said, it was like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like characters like that and moments like that made me feel like I was watching an entirely different film.
I will say though, to like bridge onto something else, at least when it comes to the horror aspect, first of all, I think there are at least like 3 or 4 moments in this film and like 3 or 4 shots that I thought were like genuinely creepy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was like, that is fucking creepy.
I feel the same way.
But there were I have to give the film credit in the sense that it takes a really cheesy and silly concept with the red dress.
Yeah.
And they actually like capitalize on it in a way that didn't come off so silly. There's times where you can kind of like, you're just kind of rolling your eyes a bit, you're like, oh god. But the way that they captured most of that, I thought was creatively done, with the editing, with the way it was just shot. I was like, okay, you took a really kind of really laughable concept that a lot of people would not take seriously, and you did kind of make it immersive in a way that didn't really take me out, and I gotta give it some credit for it. I don't know if y'all feel that way, but I thought it was at least creatively done, at least more creative than what I expected when it came to that kind of concept.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah. Going back to the actual like store where the main character comes across the red dress, I love like the set design of the store, but I didn't love the set design of the restaurant. And we actually get a couple of scenes that take place in this restaurant, and it looks like it's shot in someone's fucking basement. It looks so cheap, you know, and it was really distracting.
I actually wasn't distracted by that, but in retrospect, I can kind of see that now.
It really bothered me.
And now knowing like what he's saying, going back and watching this film again, I could be like,
I'm with Eric on that. Like, it didn't stick out to me at all when I was watching the film, but like thinking back on it, I'm just kind of like, I can definitely see what you're saying there.
And it's like, I know this sounds nitpicky, but it just really distracted me. And it's like, both of y'all have already talked about how the second act was a huge letdown. I really hated the second act of this film. Like, I checked out. As soon as the stag party scene came on, I checked out of this film. And
there were times I checked out too, honestly.
Yeah.
They weren't that long, though. Fucking It Chapter 2, just a brief aside, I fucking checked out a whole sections of that film. This, I'm like, for like 5 minutes, I'm just like staring off into space or something. I'm like, oh, okay.
Little off topic, but I checked out like 40 minutes into It Chapter 2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like almost for a whole hour. I was like, ugh.
I'm the only one that really enjoyed that film, apparently. I checked out a little bit during the second act, but I still found some of the second act enjoyable, even though I definitely agree it's fucking repetitive and dumb.
We do feel similarly about In Fabric, and I did not expect that watching the movie.
Yeah,
I thought Carlos and Perry were gonna hate this movie. I thought they were gonna trash it.
No.
I was wrong.
I thought we were gonna come out of this just like completely fucking different, like completely mixed, but that's not really the case. I think we pretty much feel genuinely the same way. I mean, I think we all like it and dislike it to different degrees, but I think that
I don't dislike this movie at all.
No,
I like it.
I don't dislike it. I also like it, but I don't know, it's definitely bothersome, and like rewatching it again is not going to help. I already know it's not. Like all the issues that I have with it are going to remain the same if I watch it again.
Right.
Especially
Maybe even magnified the second time you watch it.
Yeah, it might be worse the second time because again I know it's coming, and it's not going to make the second half any better knowing that I'm kind of dreading it now because it's not going to give any more nuance the second time around.
Yeah, because there was literally just nothing to pick up with the second half. It was just so uninteresting. I get the contrast. Like, I know it was supposed to be very different from the first half, but I still didn't like it. It just didn't take, like, a clever spin on it.
And some really strange moments in the second act, too. I mean, second half. It's just like, I know, it's like, I want to get into it, but I won't, but it's just like...
Should we do a spoiler section? I think we should. Small
okay.
spoiler section.
Okay, we'll do a very small spoiler section after we give our rating.
We gotta get into spoilers with this one.
Yeah, there is some strange character choices going on in the second half. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
You do. Yeah.
But I guess so we can get to spoilers. We'll go ahead and wrap up our thoughts. So yeah, like I said, I did enjoy this film. I'm glad I saw it. I think it has a really awesome aesthetic to it. I love the way the score was used. I love the camera work in this. The actress last name Jean-Baptiste, I forgot her first name.
Marianne
Jean-Baptiste. I thought she gave a pretty awesome performance. She was really good in it. And there was a lot of things that I enjoyed about it, but then there's a lot of things that I didn't enjoy about it, and that was kind of a bummer. But either way, when it comes to a creative horror movie, I mean, it's a creative fucking horror movie, that's for sure. I mean, no one can deny that it's a really creative, unique horror film that I also think has some really creepy shit in it for here and there. Mm-hmm. And so that being said, I'm gonna give this film a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10.
Sounds fair. Yeah, this film to me felt like David Lynch and Dario Argento had a baby, and you just sprinkle just a pinch of Terry Gilliam in there. But this movie never felt surreal to me. Like, it was definitely a really weird and bizarre movie, but it didn't have that dreamlike quality that David Lynch film lulls you into, just because I feel like all of the weird stuff was just so jagged and like out of place, and like a David Lynch film, it just feels so at home and natural and like a fucking warm, cozy blanket in a way.
Yeah.
But I completely agree. I love everything stylistically, I think, but the writing really falters in the second half. And not to say that the first half is like pure amazing and perfect, because there's some issues I have there, but it definitely gets exacerbated in the second half. Overall, I really like this movie, and I don't know if I'd recommend it because it's so fucking batshit in a lot of ways.
Definitely not for casuals.
Very unconventional. Carlos is totally right. This is very strange movie. Strangest I've seen in recent times. Yeah. And I would also give it a 6 out of 10.
Cool.
Well, like I said, I like this film the least out of all of us. And personally, I don't think I would recommend this film to anybody unless you're really into Argento and Lynch and really experimental films like this. There was definitely a lot I appreciated about it, but overall, I don't think I really enjoyed it, looking back on it now. I was close, but I wasn't quite there. It's just too tonally inconsistent for me. I really hated the second act. I was really disinterested. The film retreaded a lot of what it did in the first act in the second act, and it was just lazy, and the writing just really let me down because there are a lot of great shots in this film, but a film can look really gorgeous, but if it's not well written, I'm not going to give it a fresh rating if it's not a well written film. So I'm going to give this a 5.7 out of 10. So I'm really close.
Close to fresh, but
yeah,
not there.
Not quite there.
Well, all right.
Let's get into these spoilers because I got something to talk about.
I don't know where to start.
Y'all can start it off somewhere.
Please let me start with this one thing that's bothering me.
My guess.
You know how we were talking about how much we hate the second act and how tonally inconsistent it is? No joke. There was literally a scene in the second act where the character you're focusing on is like fucking his wife to be, and they're just like she's talking like normal. They're having she's trying to have a conversation while they're having sex, and it's just so
it's
jarring.
Like he's fucking a corpse.
Yeah,
but I thought that was amusing.
Fuck?
Yeah, I actually kind of like that scene.
Yeah.
I did not. I hated it.
I thought it was amusing.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Not only did I think it was amusing, but I actually kind of thought it was a bit thematic for his character, and I'll probably get to that in a little bit. But yeah, that was another odd scene, but I actually kind of enjoyed that one.
Like I've seen that scene done before, but it didn't feel like so derivative in this film. I was like, okay, I can see that. Yeah, I didn't mind that scene at all. I was like, okay.
But there was this one really weird thing in the second act that I don't know if I like or dislike. I just know that it's just fucking strange and batshit. But basically, the character that we follow in the second half of this movie, he's like a washer machine repair guy. And for some fucking reason, when he's going on explaining like the inner workings of a washer machine and explaining what needs to be done to it, there's this weird sexuality that reeks from it that everybody gets like hypnotized by. And it's just so fucking odd. And the way that it's done, it's just like, I didn't know what to do with that. I was just like,
I hated it.
I was trying to read into it and be like, what is this really trying to do? But it's just like, I found it just fucking weird. Like, I don't know if I like it or dislike it.
I feel the same way as Carlos. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Fuck?
It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like if I'm trying to interpret it, all I can think of is like, there's definitely a thematic element to this film about sexuality. There's like, to me, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like sexuality stuff in this
So
movie.
I don't know if that's just trying to relay like just weird sexual kinks, because I feel like there was weird stuff with like this kind of weird superficial sexual kinks that characters have in this film.
Yeah.
So maybe that has something to do with it, but I'm still just kind of flabbergasted by it. I don't know. That was probably one of the strangest shits I've seen in fucking movies in a long time. So that was just something else there.
Felt like David Lynch wrote it.
Yeah, it was just so fucking out there. I was like, what is this? But I don't know. That was really the spoiler I wanted to talk about. Did anybody else want to touch?
I wanted to talk about the fucking scene where the fucking Dracula-looking man was fucking jacking off to these ladies cleaning this fucking
the mannequin.
You can't even describe it really.
That was a scene right there. I mean,
you can't sell like because it was atmospheric. It was surprisingly very atmospheric
and immersive.
Yeah. It felt like you were watching a section of like the Neon Demon.
And you get this wonderful shot of like this, like you just get like this black screen, and then you see this beautiful load just go through the air, and it was just shot so like, first of all, it comes out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. Like you expect him to come, but you don't expect it to be shot or show it like that. And I was just like, okay.
And it was silent. Like like the sound faded, and it just happened.
You just see it. It's like, when you're just like. I just saw jizz fly across the screen. Okay.
It was very thematic though. Like it did serve a
that's why
thematic
it was
purpose.
thematic.
That's why, like, I, you know, at that part of the movie, I was like, this is really strange, but I'm pretty much digging what I'm seeing, even though it was just so fucking out there.
Yeah.
Because again, I was reading into that in a way, and I'm like, okay, I can get this. But yeah, that was something. This film has scenes where you're just like, I've never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, I know.
We got to talk about the ending though.
I don't even know what to fucking make of the ending.
Either.
Holy
the very
fuck.
ending?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was cartoonish, but at the same time, it was something I really enjoyed.
The fashion store catches on fire.
Yeah.
There's like a fight that breaks out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, I was here first. Like, no, bitch, me. And then they fucking punch each other.
I like the themes of what it's trying to say there too.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was very thematic.
Oh yeah, I like how everybody just starts fucking looting and stealing everything, and then the dress like gets on that fucking thing and it catches on fire, and the whole building is fucking like burning down. Yeah, I like.
But
it a
the
lot.
dress survives, and I love that final shot. I'll give it that. I love the shot of the fireman picking up the red dress. Everything else burnt to a crisp, but the dress is unscathed.
I actually didn't like that last shot.
Oh, man.
I thought it was okay, but like, yeah, I felt like you didn't need the fireman to show the audience, hey, look, the red dress is fine. You could have maybe had the red dress there, and then maybe it's just there, and the audience could be like, "Oh, look, there it is." I felt very ham-fisted. Like, you see it, right? You see it. It's not burnt. You see it. And it's like,
I can see that too. I can see that perspective.
You got to think if a fireman was to see a red dress.
No,
That's.
No, I mean, I get it. I see why a fireman would do it. I just wouldn't have shot it that way. I wouldn't even have shot the fireman coming in. I would have shot it in ashes, and then maybe saw a red dress there unscathed, maybe.
But it shows that the fireman may take the red dress, and then the cycle's just going to keep going on. And I think I was supposed to hint at that.
Maybe you're right.
Because the ending shot, it showed all the characters in the movie like sewing the same red dress, but it showed so many levels that didn't have people behind the sewing machines yet.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it also shows, it goes through all the levels, and it shows like all the victims of the fashion designers and their supernatural bullshit and what's going on. I still don't really know what to make of that. I mean, I guess I could try to interpret it, but I'm not.
It just felt metaphorical.
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to be like an Us situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like literal.
But I mean, I don't know. I liked most of the ending, honestly. I thought the ending was done pretty well.
I like the ending. I felt like it got entertaining again.
Yeah,
it wasn't like cleverly written or anything. I was like, okay, I'm having a good time again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
At least it like left off on a high note, because like when I was watching the second act, it's like, man, I'm really
like, what happened?
Yeah, it's like this film was doing pretty well, and then it just fell apart.
And I can totally see what you guys are saying about the whole like, oh, we're going here again, because once I saw them put the red dress like back in the washing machine, I was like, oh no.
It's like, why are we doing this again?
And of course, the character we're following is a fucking washing machine repairman, and no joke, he literally gets fired for repairing his own washing machine. But here's the thing: the scene is so fucking weird when he gets fired. His boss just shoves like his license to be an engineer.
He just swallows it.
He just swallows it whole, and fuck.
That felt like a David. I know. I'm sorry. I keep mentioning David Lynch.
Yeah.
I love the guy. That felt like a David Lynch. Moment.
It did. And again, like I get it. Like I kind of understand what they're going for with that. Like it's trying to say something metaphorical or at least thematic about, you know, bosses and how fast, you know, your career can go down the shitter. You know, I get the metaphor of him eating it and swallowing it, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes it just felt like, I don't know, it didn't land all the time.
It really didn't.
But I mean, I guess that's all we got to say, right?
Yeah, it's not a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah, it's a really unique, strange, and aesthetically effective movie, but it's definitely got a nice handful of flaws.
Definitely.
Especially in that second half that just kind of really drug it down. But yeah, that being said, I don't know, I don't know if, again, I think I would recommend it to people who already you know, are into A24. But I mean, if you're not like into that and you're not into watching like really just out there films, then I mean, there's no point. I mean, I'd just stay away from it.
This is a weird film even for A24 horror films.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. It's definitely not at the level of like a Hereditary or The Witch.
Not at all. Not even close.
No, not even close.
This is way more out there than like.
But it is
Midsommar.
way more out there.
I will say that this, for anybody that did want to see this film or does want to see this film, it's not going to get a wider release until like December 6th. So don't start like no, y'all are so lucky y'all got to see it. It's nowhere near me. It's like,
yeah,
maybe you'll get it like around December when it releases wide or wider than now.
We just were really fortunate to have a theater that happened to play at one time. So
yeah,
I really egged on these guys to go with me because I was gonna go by myself regardless.
Yeah,
but it was playing at this theater we don't usually go to, and I was like, I really want you guys to come because I want to go review this movie and see it with you guys.
Yeah, I was really hesitant because I had one horrible experience at this theater when I was trying to watch The Babadook, and
5 years ago.
5 years ago,
Yeah.
and I promised myself I'm never going back, and I went back this time. It's like, fuck it, I really want to watch it, and I want to give this review out to you guys, so I went, and yeah, honestly, the audience was fucking horrible again, but I at least, like, sat...
You think they were horrible?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm sorry, but all that laughing really pissed me off.
Yeah, same
They couldn't
here.
fucking keep it together for a second, and that really just pissed me off.
Especially that one guy sitting in the front. He had a
He
really...
laughed at everything so loudly. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you,
I guess
dude?
I'm just so desensitized to it since it literally happened at like all the Midsummer fucking screenings.
Yeah.
And then the house that Jack built, and even like fucking Hereditary, I'm sure. Like,
But even this time, they laughed like more often than they did like to any of those. Like it was just
yeah.
It was just like every time there was a stylistic choice made, it was met with laughter. Whenever there was some sort of attempt at horror, the laughing. I'm like, why do you have to fucking? It's so immature, and I'm just so sick of it. I don't know why they all have to laugh. It's not even a few people. Like the whole fucking theater is usually just roaring laughter, and I don't know. It's, again, it didn't bother that much this time because I sat in the corner and it was like less bothersome because I wasn't in the thick of the shit. But, you know, it was definitely, that's why I don't go to that theater. I think it's just filled with people who just are immature and they just don't, I don't know. I feel like they always feel the need to laugh when something weird is happening. It's like, just hold it together, dude. Like,
Yeah, I laughed a few times when shit was really weird, but I didn't like go like, like
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
I mean,
is that?
in my opinion, there's really not much in this film that's like laugh out loud laughter. There's some parts that are just so outrageous that you have to laugh, and I get it. But there's parts that like are clearly, I don't think are even close to be meant for laughter, and they're just laughing their fucking ass off.
Yeah,
and it's
I
just
feel
so
that.
annoying.
And these are supposed to be film lovers. These are supposed to be cinephiles.
This is like at an art theater somewhere where like they have like all these awesome film posters everywhere, and also where all the all the film hipsters go, but they don't. I don't know, man. I feel like they really don't appreciate it deep down, in my opinion, because if you treat films like that, it's just so fucking bothersome to me.
Yeah.
But,
You can't even call yourself a film lover if that's how you react to movies. You know?
that's the way I feel. But either way,
It was annoying.
Yeah, it was really annoying, and I mean, whatever. I did it, and honestly, I'm glad I did anyway because
I'm glad we watched
I'm happy I saw this film and that I'm able to talk about it with these guys and with everybody. So there's that. But I guess that's all we got to say. This was a pretty fucking long video. I didn't expect it to be 30 minutes long, but oh well.
Oh, by the way, we're actually doing an Ad Astra review tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
I am both skeptical and sort of excited.
Honestly, like I was never really excited for this film.
Yeah,
at
Me
all.
neither.
Me neither.
I only I had some subs that were really wanting me to watch it, but it's getting some pretty stellar reviews right out the gate. I mean, I've seen some critics call this film a masterpiece, but that doesn't really mean much to me because, like, when The Martian came out, it was getting stellar reviews, and I found that film pretty fucking underwhelming. So.
That movie
I feel
sucks.
I feel
Yeah.
like every space movie, it's a new fucking like, oh my god, this is like revolutionary.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. Fucking technical marvel. It's like, oh, enough.
I know, dude.
Enough, guys.
And I mean, if Ad Astra doesn't have anything like super creative and trippy about it, I'm gonna be really upset because I love Interstellar. I know some people in here don't like it very much, but you gotta admit, like, at least Interstellar like took a big leap like in its third act and giving you something really visually fucking trippy and awesome.
Yes.
Like it really went there with its visual aesthetic and even like with its thematic conveyance. Like it really went there with its third act, and I love that about it.
I love the space stuff. I don't like the thematic stuff. The space stuff is probably like my favorite space stuff I've ever seen, but keep in mind I haven't seen 2001.
We should have a debate one day. over Interstellar.
I
Post-it.
haven't seen it since 2014, so maybe
I have no desire to rewatch it, but I'll rewatch it.
I do, because I really love that space stuff.
Bro, I saw Interstellar like 3 or 4 times in IMAX.
Me and
I
Carlos
had to
saw it in
experience that.
IMAX. Yeah.
And I bought it on Blu-ray, the special edition, and I watched it like 2 more times. I don't know. I'm a Interstellar fucking huge fanboy, even though I know that it has its issues with its writing. Some of the writing I really don't like.
That and Matt Damon.
I don't even mind that shit.
Oh, dude, I couldn't stand Matt Damon in that fucking
I'll fight
movie.
anybody all day on that. I don't mind it. At first, I was like, okay, I don't know about this, but going back on it, I don't fucking mind it. But I see why people do. But this is why one day I feel like we should just have like an Interstellar
That would be
debate.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want, even though I feel like me and Carlos are like the obvious divisive between us, I still want Perry to like give his thoughts on it too, though.
And I don't even love Christopher Nolan. Like,
oh, I thought you did.
no, I mean, I like the guy. I really appreciate him as a filmmaker. I think he's incredibly, like, visionary. I think he's awesome. But, like, some of his films I don't even like. Like, I'm just like...
Christopher Nolan exists so casuals can feel intelligent when they're watching movies. Don't get me wrong, I like him as a filmmaker. It's just like so many casuals gravitate. It's like, you feel really
Bro, did you
intelligent.
see Inception, bro, man?
I'm a defender of The Dark Knight. I am one of those fucking plebes that think that movie's like close to a masterpiece.
I agree. Actually, I agree.
See, that's what I don't agree with. I don't think Dark Knight is... I think Heath Ledger made that movie. I think without Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight is basically just your average fucking movie.
I said plebes ironically, by the way. I'm not being totally serious. But no, I love The Dark Knight.
Maybe we should just have a debate on Nolan movies, period.
Yeah.
I
haven't
love
seen
The Dark
Inception.
Knight up until the last 5 minutes where...
I hate the ending.
Dude, the
I fucking
ending
hate it.
sucks.
I know.
I don't know what the ending is.
It's basically Gary Oldman spoon-feeding the whole thematic conveyance of Batman.
He explained the entire
Yeah.
entire purpose of The Dark Knight.
And there's a
to
lot
the
of moments in the
audience.
movie that are like that. That's why I don't fucking like... I mean, I like the movie, but I don't think it's a masterpiece. There's so much fucking spoon-feeding in that movie, but...
Nolan's spectacle of the fucking trilogy is fantastic. He's just so good at it.
He's a visionary.
I
dude.
remember... I know we're so off topic and we're just rambling.
If you
Yeah,
want-
this
if you wanna-
became a Nolan video.
Yeah. If you want to leave the review, go ahead. We're just talking.
We won't linger on for too long, but like I remember watching The Dark Knight. Like The Dark Knight Rises is like not even a good movie in my opinion, but it was on TV.
I'm not a
one
fan
day.
of Dark Knight Rises at all either.
I'm not either, but I saw it on TV one day. I'm like, wow, this looks fucking great.
But it looks great, yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah.
But the writing is dog shit.
Yeah.
It's probably Nolan's worst film, even though I haven't seen all his films.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Oh, you don't like Memento? Is that a Nolan
Memento
film?
sucks.
Oh.
I hate that movie.
I haven't seen Memento yet.
Dude, it just shows you the events backwards, and people praise the film to be
Well,
some
you just
kind of
spoiled it.
masterpiece.
Oh, well.
Dude, everybody knows that about Memento.
Yeah, and everybody knows.
I mean,
that.
I already knew that, and that's why I kind of don't want to watch it, because I already fucking know, like, the gimmick of it, so it's like...
Chris Stuckman gave it an A+. It's automatically a masterpiece, though.
Well, then
Oh,
you
I
know
forgot
not to
about
watch
that.
it. Well, no, but it's like that's literally like the gimmick of the film. But once you look past it, it's just such a fucking hollow movie, and yet people praise it to be a masterpiece. I'm like, why?
I wonder who the fuck stuck to the end.
Yeah.
Gonna stick
I
to
wonder,
the end.
if you're still here watching this, you're a fucking trooper.
I
has
guess they
never
just
happened.
love us
Yeah,
if they're
this has
still
never
here.
happened.
This is a long review, but I hope Carlos doesn't chop a lot
See,
of
this
it
is why
down.
maybe we should do, like, a fucking podcast one day. and
I
just
want
talk.
to.
Yeah.
I want to do a podcast so bad.
But I'm uploading all of it. I'm not cutting anything out.
Cool.
And
Yay!
if they want to, again, like, you can leave if you want. But okay, now we're going to stop. No
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Okay.
See you guys.
Yeah, if you really enjoyed all the bullshit we had to say, then please give this video a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.